Baik, sudah live di YouTube. Silakan Bu Ratna.
Ladies and gentlemen, before this promotion session begin, it's required to participant turn off their microphone or mute so that not interrupt the event. When the promo vendors present his material and question and answer session with the examiner or promoter team, sharing screen other than promo vendors are not permitted. When it's your turn to speak, please turn on the video and audio. We also convey our welcome to the audience who watch via YouTube streaming. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Greeting for us. This dissertation event is held to give opportunity to promo vendors Restu Mahesa to deliver her dissertation research titled Platform Ecosystem for Smart Cities, Case Study in Indonesia, and answer question or defend his dissertation against critique and comment in the session. Promo vendors has been doing his dissertation research under supervision of team of promoters as follows. Gatot Yudoko PhD from ITB as Chief Promoter, Yudo Anggoro PhD from ITB as Co-Promoter, while the ex-minor in the session are Dedi Susandoyo PhD from ITB, Yosunitioso PhD from ITB, and Dr. Rini Rahmawati from University Gadjah Mada. Ladies and gentlemen, next I will ask the Chief Promoter, Gatot Yudoko PhD, to deliver curriculum vitae of the promo vendors and then convey academic accountability regarding to the acceptance of this dissertation. To Bapak Gatot Yudoko PhD, time yours, please.
Okay. Thank you, Ibu Ratna, the chairperson. Yeah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. First of all, I would like to briefly convey about the curriculum vitae of the Promovendus, Restu Mahesa. Yeah, so the Promovendus was born in Bandung. Then he earned the undergraduate at the Civil Engineering Department of ITB, and then he also got his Master of Management from Prasuta Mulia University. The Promovendus has been with the DSM program since 2017. Now I'm going to convey about the academic accountability of the Promovendus research. Yeah. So I think the smart city has been an important topic, yeah, not only from the academic perspective, but also from the policy perspective. At the national level, the government of Indonesia has launched a program called 100 Indonesia Smart City Movement in 2017. At the global level, there has been a global movement on smart city as well. Therefore, from the policy perspective, this is a very important topic. Yeah. In this dissertation, the Promovendus has been able to identify a few recent gaps and then proposes his research toward novelty and originality as mandated by SPS ITB guidelines. In this case, the novelty is on the concept by developing a conceptual framework of smart city platform ecosystem in Indonesian context, which consists of 6 major constructs. So the proposed conceptual framework has been tested using quantitative approach, namely structural equation modeling or SEM. A survey of 1,021 respondents had been conducted in 6 cities, including Medan, Jakarta, Semarang, Surabaya, Makassar, and Samarinda, yeah, to test the proposed 12 hypotheses. The result from this model testing brings implication for future research, for policymakers, as well as for the private sector. The Promovendus has been able publishing 2 papers in Scopus Index journals, Q1 and Q2, and is now preparing a draft for book chapter invited by IGI publisher for next month. Based on that achievement, the providers is eligible to have this open expansion opportunity. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
Thank you, Chief Promoter. Now, could you please invite promo-vendors to attend to this session?
Sudah ada, Ibu.
Promo-vendors, are you ready? Promo-vendors, are you healthy enough to perform this dissertation?
Inshallah, Ibu.
Okay. Promo-vendors, you are given opportunity to present your dissertation research in maximum 20 minutes from now. Time your, please.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To the Honorable Chairman of the session, promoter and co-promoter, examiners, and Dean of Postgraduate School of ITB, and to my parents, my family at home, and to Doctoral Program of Science in Management, School of Business and Management in ITB. Today, I will present my dissertation summary with title Platform Ecosystems for Smart Cities, Case Study in Indonesia. In completing this dissertation, I was under guidance from Mr. Gatot Yudoko as my promoter and Mr. Yudo Anggoro as my co-promoter. This study is inspired by an intriguing phenomenon in the midst of increasing the population densities living in urban areas due to the urbanization in Indonesia. In 2015, there are more than 137 million people live in urban area. It rise up to 2018, become more than 147 million. 53% live in urban area in 2015, and more than 55% live in urban area in 2018. Mahesa Yudoko Anggoro in 2019 already published a dataset on the sustainable smart city development in Indonesia. The samples are 75 cities and districts. The cities who have joined the movement towards 100 smart cities in Indonesia. There are strong correlation between urban population densities and human development index in those cities. The correlation is highly significant at the level of 0.01. Some of cities are very high density, such as Jakarta, Bandung, Cimahi, Surakarta, Yogyakarta, Bekasi, and Tangerang. In the era of information and communication technology, there are technology tipping point. Smart city is one of them. Smart city is a system that enhances human and social capital wisely, using and interacting with natural, economic resources via technology-based solutions and innovations to address public issues and efficiently achieve sustainable development and a high quality of life on the basis of multi-stakeholders, municipally based partnerships, according to NS 2016. There are some of attributes in Industry 4.0. For instance, the IoT, now called Internet of Everything, AI, Big Data Analytics, CCTV, fiber optics, and 5G network, blockchain technology. The Ministry of Communication and Informatics, Republic of Indonesia, since 2017 until 2019, already have the movement towards Indonesia 100 smart cities. We can see at this map that less than 20% of the whole cities and districts in Indonesia joined the movement. The research gaps. Albert Mayer and Manuel Pedro Rodriguez Bolivar in 2016 mentioned that there is limited understanding of the emergent nature of socio-techno practices. The research gap is the complex interactions between technology and social structure, and that need to be analyzed to develop a theoretical understanding of techno governance, according to Orlikowski 1992 and Fontaine 2001. My first research questions is, what are the major constructs to build conceptual model platform ecosystems of Indonesian smart city, which enable the interaction of all stakeholders to collaborate toward national urban sustainability? My second research questions, what conceptual platform ecosystems of Indonesian smart city which enable interaction? The third research questions, does the proposed conceptual platform of Indonesia smart city ecosystem will fit to enable the interaction? The first research objectives is to find the major constructs to be used in the building of a conceptual model. Second, to form and to propose a conceptual model of platform ecosystems. The third, to validate whether the proposed conceptual model platform ecosystems fit to interaction of the whole stakeholders. The evolution of ecosystems theory. In 2014, there is a platform ecosystems, and this unit analysis is the interactions. The paradigms has been shifted to use a platform, which is a specific class of technologies. And also the platform ecosystems are seen as a semi-regulated coordination and direction. The research methodology. I did literature review and followed by qualitative, and then develop a framework, followed by quantitative, and then did the interpretation. The model building on the qualitative phase, I found previous constructs from the literature review, and also found a construct that is rarely mentioned previously, and these constructs are called meta-constructs, according to Pagel and Wu 2009. After that, I built a hypothesized model, and then been tested. First, it tested on the small number of respondents on the pilot test, and become a validated survey questionnaire, and been followed by full-scale tests, which are survey to larger number of respondents, and then followed by investigation of hypothesis tests. Quantitative findings are triangulated with the qualitative findings and related to the underlying theories. The expected novelty is a proposed model or construct which is claimed, and hopefully it will expand the existing body of knowledge in the urban sustainable development. The hypothesized model after the pilot test consists of 6 constructs, 26 dimensions, and 98 indicators. The survey data collection were carried out in the 6 Indonesian smart cities, which are Medan, DKI Jakarta, Semarang, Surabaya, Makassar, and Samarinda. In every city, not less than 168 respondents. The total respondents are 1,021 from 6 Indonesia smart cities. The hypothesis investigations I propose 12 hypotheses. I also propose a framework. The result summary of the hypothesis test. 10 hypotheses were supported. 2 hypotheses were rejected. My research conclusions. The research question number 1. What are the major constructs to build the conceptual model? The answer is 6 meta constructs, 26 dimensions, and 98 indicators. They were called meta constructs because they were derived from what has not been mentioned previously from the literature review, but being identified at the site. A new construct, cultural system. This construct is unique in Indonesia context and claimed as the research novelty and one of the major findings. Based on the strong evidence of reliability and validity from pilot tests, it shows good AVE, Cronbach alpha, and the composite reliability using PLS SAM analysis. The bootstrapping procedure saw excellent results. It showed high value of T and also low of P values using the PLS SAM analysis. The confirmatory factor analysis using the CB-SAM also show of a very good model fit. This new construct, cultural system, is claimed as the research novelty and also one of the major findings. The research question number 2. What conceptual model of platform ecosystems? The answer is this case study research has proposed 6 constructs, completed with 12 hypotheses of causal relationships among its constructs as the theoretical propositions. The measurement model has passed the testing using CB-SAM, using AMOS software. Model generating strategy show evidence of very good model fit. The political leadership and the smart urban services have passed the mediation test using Sobel test with a high statistical significance and also claimed as one of the major research findings. Research question number 3. Does the proposed conceptual platform will fit to enable the interaction? This case study shows that there are 9 causal paths and all are found to be statistical significant. The 8 of causal paths have a significant level of 0.01, while 1 of causal path is significant at the level of 0.05. The square multiple correlation, or R square, which is a variable of the proportion of variance that accounted for by its predictors, shows satisfactory results. We can see that the political leadership estimate is 0.792. Smart urban services estimate as 0.690. The policy responsiveness, the estimate is 0.729. And the citizen preferences estimate as 0.697. The research novelty number 2. Here is the theoretical propositions, the 6 construct with a series of 12 hypotheses. 3 of the hypotheses confirm the positive effect of causal relationships from cultural system to the citizen preferences. This linked to the platform ecosystem theory, but rarely mentioned in the previous research. 3 hypotheses in this study confirm the positive effect of causal relationship from cultural system to policy responsiveness, also linked to the platform ecosystem theory, and also rarely mentioned in the previous research. The supporting underlying theories. There are 2 hypotheses in this study, confirmed the underlying theory posed by Hatton and Zedeli in 2016. Two hypotheses confirmed the underlying theory posed by Anes, Guel, and Giffinger in 2017. Two hypotheses are rejected. I will show you more in detail. 8 hypotheses in study confirmed the underlying theory posed by Clark, 1981, that the political leadership construct act as a mediating variable. We can see Jakarta, Surabaya, Medan, Samarinda, some of big cities' development in Indonesia has grown to become a contemporary city due to the urbanization. But the failure transition in urban ecosystems, we can see some cities are struggling in providing the natural resources and physical infrastructures, which may affect to the linkage between the urban systems to smart urban service relationship. Childers et al. 2014 already proposed the city transformation. We can see here that in the contemporary city, from non-sanitary to sanitary city, need investment costs. This is high investment cost, and also need a rigid engineering solutions. From data, the author suspects that there is a problem in urban system aspects. The challenges is in the transformation of contemporary cities to change from non-sanitary city to sanitary city. Nam and Pardo in 2011 has proposed that human factors play as fundamental component of smart city. Here we discover, in line with the opinion of the Nam and Pardo 2011, that the main factor that makes the success of the quality of life of citizens achieved is human factors. The policy implications. Master plan. Every city should have a master plan with a performance benchmark. Urban transition. The failure may affect to the success of urban system to smart urban services relationship. The environment carrying capacity should employ the adaptive and integrated management. Latent and manifest variable. The master plan should have a reflective indicators and measurement of six construct. The cultural system, there are 5 dimensions: connectedness, collaborations, cohesiveness, control, and conflict resolution. Are the successful of implementation of smart city strategy. The direction for future research, the study on the urban systems failure, on the human factors, and identify of other stakeholders, and state-of-the-art 4.0 technology such as 5G, cellular networks, and IoT. The research limitations. I propose on the platform, there is a knowledge layer at the most bottom. At the middle, there is infrastructure layer, and there is interaction layer at the top. And this dissertation scope is on the top layer. Thank you very much for your time to listening my dissertation summary. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Promovendus. Ladies and gentlemen, this session is continued with question and answer. Each examiner will deliver 2 until 3 questions in 3 minutes, and then Promovendus must answer all of the questions in 7 minutes straight away and without refutation from the examiner. First, I would like to ask the examiner, Ibu Dr. Rini Rahmawati from Gajah Mada University. Time viewer, please.
Thank you for the time, Ibu Professor Dr. Sudrajati Ratnaningtyas. First of all, I would like to congratulate the Promovendus for the dissertation that is up to date and beneficial for urban management in the future. I have 3 questions to ask. Please answer the following question with a clear explanation. The first question is, could you explain the research result of your dissertation concerning the urban development model in the future, specifically in smart city and housing sector, because you are now working in the housing sector also. And then the second question is, what is the best strategic direction for cities in Indonesia to achieve good smart city implementation by learning from the cases that were already studied in your dissertation? And the last question is, how could smart city support better urban management? Is it better after the implementation of smart city concept or not? In your presentation, you have already talking about one of the urban services that sanitation, from non-sanitation to sanitation, but we know that urban management is more than only focusing on sanitation. You could explain from your dissertation case study for this question. That's all. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank Ibu Rini for the question. I will answer the first question. The model result has proposed the platform ecosystems model. The urban development model, to my opinion, should have the guiding principles. What is the guiding principles? What guiding principles is the aim, the vision. And according to me, the urban development model should have vision on the sustainability concerning to the economic, to the social, and to the environment. Nowadays, this sustainability try to be achieved by every cities, by every government, by every country. But there are so many challenges to accomplish of this vision, especially in smart cities, in housing sectors. I can tell that many cities make some budget. Many government, many countries wants to put smart city as their vision. They're spending the budget, but unluckily, they're spending the budget, but what is the composition? For instance, when we talk about the fiber optics, when we talk about the infrastructure, very high cost. But in return, should on the citizen quality of life, should on the policy responsiveness. That is according to my model. So for housing sectors, I think very relevant. Because nowadays, especially in Indonesia, we are facing so much difficulties. First is the environment capacity. The carrying capacity in some cities are very challenging because of the high density. Here, I argue that most of the problems, the increasing populations with a limited carrying capacity on the most of cities have caused the most cities are constantly face numerous challenging issues. That is my argument. So in line with Ibu Rini question, I agree, Ibu, that smart city is a concept should be continued because this is a tipping point. This is a paradigm shift. From the before tipping point, now we are in the industrial 4.0. Smart city is one of the 21 tipping point in the industry 4.0. The second question of best strategy. From my model, from my interviews, from observation, I can suggest that smart city is still long way to go. In Indonesia, there are 514 cities and districts. Nowadays, we already covered 100 smart cities. How about the rest? How about the other 80%? If we continue like this, then we need 12 years more to achieve the whole Indonesia area to be smart. So the best strategy is by employing the cultural systems. What is the cultural systems? The cultural systems, one is the connectedness. I propose the connectedness between the cities, not only on the term of the physical connection, but also on the collaboration, the cohesiveness, but also this smart city need to be uncontrolled. Who should control? Not only the government. I propose association. I propose citizen to become a control. And also smart city should have the conflict resolution. Indonesia have more thousands of languages, hundreds, even thousands of tribes. So in my opinion, smart city should be a platform to be a conflict resolutions media. So I think the best strategy is to employ the cultural system. And I feel happy because when I saw the ministries, they show us that the cultural system is there. The coordination, collaboration between them, semi-regulated coordination can be done. So I think in Indonesia, we can achieve this. The third question about the support, the urban management, the city management. I refer to Ibu Rini paper, 2019. I read already the paper very thoroughly and agree with you, Bu, that city management is the best one who employed the smart city because we encounter so much problems. The security, how to maintain the landscape, how to maintain the engineering, how to maintain the clean water, how to maintain the waste management. There's so much problems in the handling and operation. Not only that. So I think, yes, it is better, very much better. We can avoid the flood, we can avoid the waste, we can make the better water. I think already in 7 minutes. Thank you very much, Bu Rini.
Thank you. And then we invite the second examiners, Bapak Yosunitioso PhD from ITB to convey your question, please.
Okay, thank you, Chair, Professor Sudrajati. First of all, congratulations, Pak Restu Mahesa, for completing your dissertation. Yeah, and I have 3 questions to ask. The first one is related to, I think you explained about this before, but I would like to see more on how, because you say because your findings shows that urban system does not influence directly in the smart urban services, and there is a mediation, yeah, or mediating variable or mediating meta construct, as you said, which is the political leaderships. Yeah. But how you can explain this in practice, in reality? I think from the model I can see that clearly, and also you explain about that significance of the mediation. But how this can happen in real world? Secondly, you talk about one of your construct is policy responsiveness. Yeah. So basically, policy is used to solve public issues or public problems, but I don't see the relations between the policy responsiveness with the citizen preferences in your hypothesis. And what is your view on this? Yeah, do you think that policy responsiveness is not related to citizen preferences, or is it something that you will look into in the future? The third question is related to your main titles about platform ecosystem, yeah, that you develop related to smart cities. So how would the performance of the smart cities can be evaluated or enhanced using the platform, the model that you develop? I think that's all. Thank you. Thank you, Bu Ratna.
Thank you very much, Pak Yos, for the question. The first question relating to the model, especially in the mediating variable. The political leadership highly significant in this model, tested by the Sobel test. Smart urban services also high statistical significance as the mediating variables. In the real world, political leadership is very, very important because Indonesia comprises of thousands of islands. Indonesia has a multi-governance structure between the government on the district level, government on the up level. It's become a decentralistic since 1999. So the political leadership, for instance, have 4 dimensions. The timeless nationalism. President Sukarno, Bung Hatta, and all of our presidents, the governors, some governors already show the principles, the 5 principles of Pancasila. Democracy applies applicable law, voice of the citizen, representing the timeless nationalism. Second dimension is transitional, mediated by subordinate management, policy, communication, workforce planning. Some of the leaders of Indonesia has shown this, especially in smart city, because when smart city carry out, they need to be transitional from previous paradigm to a new paradigm. The transactional, the third dimension, comprised from the measurement of the business potential, skill training, and labor protection. And the fourth is the transformative, the optimistic, and the economic growth. So from here, political leadership in the real world, I see from the side, I see from the field, when we discuss with the ministries, these variables is highly significant as the mediating. And also, because this is a case study, from when we see the research questions, there are no about why and how. But because of our model have 2 mediating variables, that it become a case study, because it explains on how we achieve the sustainable development. Okay, I go to the second question, the policy responsiveness and citizen preferences. In my model, there's a claim. If we read on the summary of dissertation also been posted, that there is translation error in the urban policy analysis. This translation error have been posed by Clark in 1981 at the United States context. Here, I saw it relevant to us because when government makes policies, should hurt the citizen, but not only hurt, it should respond, it should react. And the citizen preferences is also equitable of basic needs, the equitable access to urban quality, the equitable of development human capital, and the equitable of democracy. So these two elements need to be congruent. Pak Gatot Yudoko in his dissertation already mentioned about this transition error. I read in his dissertation. So I guess this is very important to Indonesia context. The third question, platform ecosystems, how we evaluate the performance. I agree very much with you, Pak, that every master plan should have a performance benchmark. And not only that, Pak, I propose that we should also have a time limit. Because if we continue like this, if we continue the existing practice, we need more than 10 years. Maybe more than 12 years to achieve of all districts to become smart city. So I guess this master plan, what have been proposed by Pak Dedi Sushandoyo, by Ibu Rini, by the teams of ministries already in the best track. The master plan is very essential. I guess that's my question, Pak. Yes, thank you very much, Pak.
Thank you, Promovendus. And then we invite Bapak Dedi Sushandoyo, PhD, for convey your question, please.
Thank you very much, Bu Sudrajati, Professor Sudrajati. Pak Restu, thank you very much for very clear presentation, very systematic, and I think the thesis is also good because the way how you structure your the content is very good as well. So congratulations, Pak. Very good. Nevertheless, I still have 4 questions to discuss here. The first question is about the model that we have already right now. Of course, it's interesting that we found something new for the academic point of view. But my question, is it necessary, Pak? In the real life, we have so. The second question, Pak, related to research methodology. Here, I would like to see, because the cases that you use, although you use quantitative, and especially if you use quantitative, we much more confidence related to generalizability of the findings. Let's say if we put this result to other contexts, let's say far beyond Indonesia, let's say in America, who adopt different model, how confident we still see that your result is applicable, because the terminology, the variable that you use are also somehow generalized or conceptualized model, not particular for Indonesia. How confident we can use your model to other contexts which far beyond Indonesia? And related to research methodology or of your findings also, we found a cultural aspect from your study. I think this is because, as you explained, Indonesia is unique. Indonesia has many cultures. So that is why from your study, it appears that cultural system is important. But other countries also have culture, but how different cultural system contextualize or obtained from Indonesia to, for example, other countries that also have rich, let's say India also have very rich culture. How can we translate, or how can we use the model for you to Indian, for example, who has also very rich in culture or strong culture? That is related to research methodology or the result from research method that you use. The third question is much more related to the government's policy. As you can see here, although using, let's say, existing model that the Ministry of Communication and Informatics has right now, the coordinations among the ministry from the national and then local government is not that easy, so complicated. by using your model seems to me even more complicated. How do you see the coordinations among governments at national level and local level can occur when you try to use your model? And then the last one, Pak. I think the model that you use is the survey that you use is much more related to the government or local governments when you did survey to many cities that involved in the smart city. Because you work also in the housing developer, Pak, how can you see this model, the model that you propose, is also beneficial for the private sector, or like, for example, the company you work right now, Pak. Thank you very much, Pak Restu. That is those 4 questions that I would like you to answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Dedi, for your guidance also to me. The first question is about the model. Yes, in my literature review, I review 14 frameworks from the global smart cities. Because of the smart cities birthed in Europe in 2010, and also birthed from North America. My question is, can we directly apply the smart city concepts directly in Indonesia? So why I cover so much smart city? My promoter also note to me that there is positive and negative. Positive points, we gather the constructs, also together dimensions, and also together indicators. So from 14, we gather so much. That's the positive point. But my promoter also said to me, you have to be careful, because when we have so much constructs, what constructs that suit Indonesia? That's why when I first adopt the positivist paradigm, I can jump from the literature review to make a model. But my promoter suggests to me, you should go to the field first. You should check what is the reality on site. So I did it. I spent months, did the survey, did the interviews with the ministries, with the stakeholders, with the academia, with the business sectors, to find what is other construct. And luckily, I found the construct that different with the previous one to become one of the novelty. So I agree with you, Pak Dedi. This has been a very complicated works. So much resources has been carried out in this study. But I think, to my opinion, we have to do it now because we don't have too much time. Another country already did it with the government support. We did it by private sector. But in platform ecosystems, the public, the private can also contribute to the development of smart cities. I believe that. How to convince a smart city stakeholder that this model should be applied? This will not be easy. But I think with a discussion, with more discussion, because we have to be the same thinking. And I believe that everyone stakeholder of smart city has their own vision. But one vision is nationalism, merah putih, our flag. That what I saw in ministries, what I saw in academia, what I saw when I interview some of business sector, the merah putih. And this is the nationalism that we have. Maybe other countries have also, but it's so much in Indonesia, I believe for that. Another question from Pak Dedi is the research methodology, the generalization. I should thank you, Pak Dedi, for this question. Because of you, I learned a lot of the generalization. Before I have question from Pak Dedi about generalization, maybe I think not too much about generalization. But here my agreement, Pak Dedi. My generalization from this research is from the theoretical propositions, not from the finding. We should have the analytic generalization. From Yin 2013, he mentioned that we have the theoretical proposition. He makes some examples for that. So my argument is the 6 constructs plus the 12 hypotheses is my theoretical proposition. And I strongly push for other researchers, and even to me, and even to my teams, and even to the researchers coming from the universities, coming from the ministries, to use this construct to test it, not only in the other smart cities in Indonesia, but also to other contexts. I agree with you, Pak. In America, in India, we should connect it because Yin in 2013 said that the generalization will make the result even stronger. I believe in Yin proposition, and I believe in generalization should be carried even more in the future research. In the cultural aspect, I agree with Pak Dedi that other countries has also cultures. But in our cultures, dated back to 10,000 before Christ, even much longer than Europe. We have found some of the literature say that our urbanization is much longer than Europe, much longer than many other countries. Java, for instance, Java has, I already mentioned about 7 cities. The 7 cities, I believe, have mostly dense population because not only the people coming in, but also because of the trade, because of the religion, because of the territory claiming. So I guess this cultural aspect should be tested also in other countries, maybe have to be modified a bit to make the indicators more contextual for the local. The government policy, I tried to answer in 1 minute. This existing model, I agree with you, Pak, because of the multi-level governance, as Pak Yudo mentioned to me, making this even harder in Indonesia. Because 1999, decentralization took place in Indonesia. Pak Yudo already mentioned, this is make a complex problem to Indonesia because the coordination between the locals, between the up level is so difficult. But I guess because of nationalism, because of this platform ecosystem that timely, that is technological based, we can do it. No, I think 7 minutes. Thank you, Pak Dedi, for the question.
It's enough. Nah. Restu, your question enough?
Yes, enough, Bu.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we must go to next session, that is question and answer with promoter team. So firstly, I invite Pak Yudo Anggoro, PhD, to deliver the question and comment. Your time, yours, please.
Thank you, Professor Ratna, as the chair of exam. Again, Pak Restu, congratulations. Yeah, you have come this far and very good job in writing the dissertation. The topic is about smart city, and luckily we have also smart examiners who are asking smart questions, so that most of the questions that I'm about to ask have been covered by the previous examiners. But okay, first I'd like to, I have 3 points, but first is about political leadership, has been discussed by Pak Yos and also Pak Dedi before. So as we can see here, one of the factors or the dimension of political leadership here is about timeless nationalism. So again, how my question is, how can we make sure the consistency of the political leadership, given that every 5 years we are going to have elections? So suppose you are convincing this government, and then in the next 5 years there will be change. This December we are going to have like Pilkada, yeah, and then there will be lots of changes in the local government, so it's going to be not timeless, I suppose. I think this is to follow what Jos has mentioned before. The second is about cultural system. This has been asked by, I think by Pak Dedi before, yeah. Yeah, cultural system is important. But again, in Indonesia, we have lots of cultural systems. So what kind of cultural system that is applicable in your research, Pak? You mentioned about Java. You mentioned about other culture. Yeah, we have various kind of cultures. That's my second question. My third question is related to the urban transition, especially on the failure of the urban system. Yeah, again, my question is more into like how can we make sure that this urban failure can be alleviated, yeah, so that as policymakers, yeah, we don't want to see the failure of our urban system because it will impact the society and the people as a whole. That will be my 3 questions to you, Pak Restu. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Yudo, for the question. For the political leadership, this is very interesting because Pak Yudo interest in the leadership and also have a book about leadership, and especially in political leadership, because of this concept were drawn firstly from the concept of Clark 1981. The concept coming from North America. I learned from one of book called Urban Policy Analysis, and I wonder whether this model can be modified, because 1981 in America and nowadays in America is very different. What makes different is industrial era. We face maybe a little bit late of Industry 4.0, but IBM, maybe one of the industrial sectors who produce much of the literatures for the smart city from the north of America. So back to the political leadership. I think the citizen roles in the sustainable urban development we found in this research aligned with the NAM and Pardo 2011. That most factors coming from 2 parts. One is the human factors, the citizen. We acknowledge the citizen is very varied in Java, in Kalimantan, Sulawesi, all of the place. Even in one place, we get the migration. For instance, in Jakarta, more than 30 tribes reside in Jakarta. So the political leadership has been so important in Indonesia because in our culture, when a leader say, this is my program, why the program is so important? Because it has to do with the citizen needs. For instance, for the flood system, it requires a huge amount of money. It requires a lot of land. How to make a move from one place to another place? So the old place will become a big dam, for instance. This should make a political leadership. For instance, our presidents already show us how to about the relieve the tollway that already been in maybe several years. So I think the political leadership is very, very shown in our leadership. And the affordability and the quality of IT infrastructure have shaped the urban development. This requires a very huge of investment. And this decision should be made on the cool mind and the right of economic decision, and also by the guts of the political leadership. Because you invest in something and maybe not in return for 5 years, maybe it will return in 30 years, maybe in 50 years. But when a leader make those decisions, citizens should be heard, and the citizens should be accommodated as one of the important stakeholders. So this is the first answer. The culture system important. Yes. What kind of applicable? I remember when I discussed with Pak Gatot Yudoko in 2017 when we tried to draw what is the conceptual model. Pak Gatot mentioned to me, Pak Restu, you remember gotong royong? Yes, I know, Pak. How to make it more become timely for the younger now? Because gotong royong is not too much what is called multi-millennial term. So the cultural system, Pak, actually is the representation of the gotong royong. So I guess when we have this cultural system in Indonesia, it will be benefit not only for our era, but also to my children, my grandchildren, and for the Indonesia aspect. The third question about the urban transition, the failure. Very sad to say to you, Pak, until now in Indonesia, I have not seen any success of the waste management system. And that waste management system is much investment higher than to produce a water. And why it can be done in other countries, they can done with the power plant, make it waste to energy. Why we cannot do it? It's complicated. Because one factor is the legal aspect. Another aspect is cost. Another aspect is technology. But I think with a platform ecosystems, we can accommodate the private sector, we can accommodate other stakeholders to entering on how to make this problem to be solved. And this platform ecosystem, I think, very important to us because not only several stakeholders who think about these problems, all of us should be contribute. So I guess that 3 questions from Pak Yudo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And finally, we invite the Chief of Promoter, Bapak Gatot Yudoko, PhD, to deliver your question, please.
Okay. Thank you, Ibu Ratna, the chairperson. Okay, Pak Restu, I have 3 questions about. Yeah. So the first question is about the nature of the approach in model or theory building. Yeah. So I think it is likely, yeah, it is possible that each municipality or district, ya, kota atau kabupaten Indonesia, ya, may develop and implement its own unique model of smart city, ya, that best fits its local condition. Yeah. So yeah, if this is true, that will be an inductive approach, yeah, in theory building of local smart city in Indonesia. While your proposed model, yeah, is actually a pragmatic approach, yeah, combining or integrating both the deductive and inductive. So my question is that, what is your opinion about this, yeah, in terms of theory building of smart city in Indonesia? Yeah, this is the first question. The second question, yeah, we have acknowledged, yeah, from the literature review that some authors have argued actually smart city is a transition or milestone toward the future of what is called the sustainable city. Yeah. So my question is, what is your proposed futuristic agenda? Yeah. Yeah. What should be done in the future? Yeah. Do you agree that sustainability will be maybe the millennium vision, or do you still agree that smart city is the final vision toward the future? Okay, and then my last question is about the major construct that you have developed and tested in your proposed conceptual framework. My question is, which of those 6 constructs will be the most difficult or will be the most challenging one to be adopted or to be implemented in Indonesia? Okay, that's all. Okay, thank you, Pak Restu. Thank you, Ibu Ratna.
Thank you, Pak Gatot, for being a guidance to me for these 3 years of my dissertation, from not knowing anything to little know something. The first question is about the nature approach of the theory building. I agree with Pak Gatot that every city, every district has its own advantages, has its own also drawbacks, has its own challenges. We cannot make one model for all of them. And that is why in our normative model, Pak Gatot, we already built the smart city as one of the construct. In our model is sustainable urban development model.
Okay.
In others, researchers making smart city as a concept. It is true. But in our model, the smart city is part towards the urban sustainability. That's one of the arguments in the sustainable urban development, that smart city is the enabler. The technology is the enabler. The other part is the cultural system. The other part is the urban. But one of the most important stakeholders, one is government, the other is citizen. So according to Pak Gatot's question, when we do inductive approach, I very thank to Pak Gatot, because previously I didn't know about this method. I just know about the mixed method when Pak Gatot lecture how to make not only quantitative but also qualitative. That's why I employ the mixed methods according to Craft. And we did during the qualitative phase. We visit the literature review, but we visit also the stakeholders. We talk, we dig, and then we try to summarize, try to categorizing, try to make a construct, try to make pattern from within case analysis, from cross case analysis. And I thank Pak Gatot for acknowledging me with the Pagel NU 2009, because I think that's the very best track to did the research from his 10 exemplars to make of a case study. The second question is about the smart city in the complex of the urban transition. What is the future research agenda? I suggest Pak to us to make a generalization as Pak Dedi mentioned. Because to make this model become more stronger, we should have the more findings. We can not make a generalization on the finding, as I learned from Yin. We should to implement the theoretical proposition to another cities, to another maybe to countries with similar condition as in Indonesia. So maybe this is the time for us to make future research, not only end on this dissertation, but how to make this to become future research agenda. My agenda is to make this as an urban sustainable concept, because also in working as the developer, we did already this vision about the sustainability, and we believe that economic sustainability should be supported by social. and also by the environment. And I think learning a lot from this dissertation process, how to make this more constructive about the urban sustainable development. Thank you, Pak Gatot. The third one, many constructs have been identified, have been tested. When I did pilot test, Pak, we already saw urban system, one of the dimension already been deleted because not significant in the pilot test. When we did the full test, we also found that many negative response from the citizen about this urban system. I believe that in Indonesia, this is contextual, not only the problem for the government, but this is for private sector, academia, should make contribution for this country. So I believe that urban system is the most difficult, should be more addressed for the adoption of urban sustainability. Thank you, Pak Gatot.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Restu.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we just finished the first session of dissertation defense, and then I will ask your patient to give opportunity to graduate school commission to conduct evaluation meeting. Then I will suspend this session for about 30 minutes.